This is a housing market update, and y'all probably don't know me. I have a kind of a medium-sized crypto channel that I've covered crypto and altcoins for the last year and a half, but we're covering housing news now, which honestly is where my passion lies. I've flipped over 100 houses and I've sold over 200, and I've been in real estate since literally the day I was born. My grandparents were in real estate. Anyway, enough about this. It's just my passion. That's all I wanted to say. So let's look at some housing market news that just came out today, and I'm going to give you a personal story that ties into the news, because we got to know how to play the housing market, because the shit is going crazy in the housing market right now, and I've never seen it in my adult mature life. Well, I'm still not mature, but in my adult life I've never seen it. So this is something that maybe a lot of y'all have not seen either, because YouTube kind of trends downward in the age, so this might be new for all of us. So we really got to look at it. Also, like and subscribe to this channel if you like what we're doing. So I'm going to show you this in a second. This plays into the story, but not right now. So home prices are falling in these 98 major housing markets. Only 50 markets remain at the peak. The U.S. house price correction is sharper and more widespread than previously thought. So I don't think that's news for anybody, but it is news when you are buying and selling a house, right? They said not long after the mortgage rate spikes this spring, the U.S. housing market slipped into what the industry likes to call a housing recession. That's clear that we're probably in one now. I think anyone that is looking has noticed that it's probably the best time to buy in the last 5 years than ever, and everyone that's selling is noticing a lot of decrease in prices, increase in inventory, also increase on your days on market, also decrease in the amount of offers you're getting. So here's a good personal example. I am a house flipper. Like I said, I put this one on the market. This is a perfect in my market, which is Summerville, South Carolina. It's actually Charleston, South Carolina. This is a great example, like a starter home, right? So it's a pretty nice flip. We did well on the fixtures and stuff like that. I'm not bragging about my flip. I could care less. But what is important here, as there's nothing wrong with it. This is like a good example of a first-time home buyer house. And this time last year would have been multiple offers, would have been about 30 showings within a week. So we listed this, let's see, when did we list it? Listed about 14 days ago, had 2 offers, and finally just ratified one, but only about 15 showings. Now, that might seem like a lot, but that is drastically down. So this is something that I don't think, just because 98 housing markets are falling and 50 are remaining stable, I don't really think those 50 are going to hold up for much longer. I think it's something that, even though this is probably one of the best markets in South Carolina, probably one of the best markets in the Southeast, it's seen a lot of softening in the market already and quickly. And we know that next week the Fed is raising interest rates even more. That's the hypothesis. So I think the rest of these bad boys are going to be falling right behind it. So we know there's a housing recession in 2006. There's a real estate consultant for Fortune says that the frothy market like Boise and Phoenix have already gotten their home prices top blown off. It looks like that home price correction had moved beyond the overheated Western markets, which is very true. It has moved beyond the Western markets and even gone to the Southern market, which is supposed to be one of the strongest. And traditionally, I've seen it being the strongest. You can see right here, among the 148 major regional housing markets, 98 markets have seen home values fall. In 11 markets has already dropped by more than 5%. The price correction is sharper and more widespread than previously thought. Here's another thing about this data. Number one, this data can be chopped up and made into a million different stories and headlines and stuff like that. What you traditionally see the more expensive homes go down first, and then you see a softening. It's almost like a staircase, right? So you see the most expensive ones go down first, and then you see the less expensive ones still stay pretty hot until you get to that first-time home buyer range. Now, this is what has me concerned, is because that house I just showed you is prime in that first-time home buyer range. Now, that's already showing signs of softening and weakening already. We're not even that far into this recession. I think it has a potential to get a lot worse, and that makes me fearful. It'd be one thing if, like 2006, 2007, just the top of the market, the luxury things were getting hit and really being decimated. But this is first time home buyer stuff getting hit. And so it's really, really concerning. I met a guy, a big hedge fund guy at FinCon the other day, and he was saying how it might be even worse than suspected because BlackRock and some of these big hedge funds bought up all the single family house inventory, and now they're selling it. But they haven't really started to sell it. They haven't really flooded the market with it yet. So it is really, really wild what might get worse. I think Michael Burry, the big guy from The Big Short, sold all of his stocks, and he also thinks that this market's getting worse too. So I mean, you know, I don't like to predict future things because we never really know, but it does seem that if we still go on this track, it might get a little worse, which is there's always an opportunity, right? It's never, just because it's getting worse doesn't mean that there's not an opportunity for you to buy, for you to finally get a house that you want. This might be the best time to buy. You will be in a higher interest rate. You can always take a 5-year ARM out and refinance, or you can always put on a 15-year mortgage to try to pay down some of that, or you can just eat up the interest rate and say, you know what, screw it, I'm going to save a little bit of money on my home, and if I'm keeping this for 30 years, this might be something. Anyway, if you want more real estate advice, real estate coaching, we do a little bit of that. If you want to be, if you're a real estate investor, just want to chat with me about that, hop on over to the Instagram, Stephen_Clarke, C-L-A-R-K-E 511, I believe, and then you can also shoot me a message here or drop something in the comments. I love talking real estate all the time. That's the majority of my day. All right, see you soon.